Hello, my friends. My name is Gerdes, and this is a daily brief. So, 750 invaders are off the battlefield. That includes that bomber yesterday, one aircraft, and we can verify that at the British intelligence that they're usually lagged by a week or so behind events, but they came right out with this one. On 19 April 2024, Russia carried out airstrikes using two 22 M3 backfire C strategic bombers. That was shot down, and they say it's almost certain that the reports of a S-200 missile were being used to carry out accurate, and that is another successful Ukrainian action against the Russian Air Force. So that's where we are with that. Russia was claiming it was friendly fire. Uh, which is strange because the Ukrainians aren't that friendly with the Russians these days. Okay, so when we look at the tabulation of Russian and Ukrainian losses, it's very top-heavy for Russia today, according to Andrew Perpetua. But that's not the big story. Overnight, two KH-5969 were destroyed. Also, three recon drones were destroyed. That's not the big story. Here's the big story. SBU, GUR, SOF, Special Operations Forces, organized attack on Russia's energy infrastructure. Objects in 8 regions were hit at night. That's the big story. And now we're coming up to a vote. Don't we want Congress to say, well, no, we don't want you to hit this energy, the infrastructure, the oil in Russia. We want you to just, get them out of your land, but don't hit. That's no. They want to send a clearer message. We can win this thing. If you give us the resources, we can do it. And I think that's why the timing of these things. Here's what happened: as Russia says, it hit 50 drones. That's where they're shooting down of the 2 of 7 missiles. Meanwhile, Russia's defense ministry said that its air defense systems shot down 50 Ukrainian drones over 8 regions of Russia on April 20th. That's pretty amazing. 26 drones were down in Belgorod, 10 were destroyed over Bryansk, 8 over Kursk, 2 over Tula, 1 over Smolensk and Ryazan, Kaluga, and Moscow region. So 50 drones. And what do we know about it? Well, a Lukoil depot in Smolensk Oblast and several energy infrastructure objects were hit at night in a drone attack. Russia's Ministry of Defense claimed to intercept all 50 drones. In judo, particularly in martial arts and judo, there's a joke that don't worry, the ground will catch you, like as you're being flipped or thrown or whatever. And I think that's kind of what happened. Well, Russia intercepted these drones, but with their energy infrastructure. Okay, breaking: Ukrainian drones hit 8 regions in Russia tonight, the largest strike with dozens of drones. Several power plants and oil depots have been hit here, Lukoil, and it goes on and lists where it was. So you can see it. Now, let's turn our attention to what's going to happen next. The House is to vote on critical U.S. aid package for Ukraine and Israel. It's actually happening. Now, I know a lot of you were like, well, wait a minute. This hasn't happened. Mike Johnson will never bring this to the floor. Mike Johnson's just a tool of Putin, and he has delayed, and it's unfortunate, and it's been very costly, but it's coming today. Okay, so it got out of the Rules Committee yesterday and then got to a floor procedural vote yesterday, passed with flying colors from both of those, actually. And so now here we are about to see it happen today. Today, the House of Representatives will vote on 4 bills: aid to Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, and a national security bill. The document includes clauses on the confiscation of Russian assets and their transfer to aid for Ukraine. And so, again, it's coming today. Uniparty funding failure: Ukraine, Israel, Hamas, Taiwan, United States zero, sponsored by Joe Biden and Chuck Schumer. This Representative Matt Rosenthal saying that there's no greater enemy to America than the Uniparty. By the way, this is a pro tip. Whenever you see Uniparty, that's like code for I am MAGA. That's what is being said when they only MAGA uses the term uniparty to kind of say, well, see, all of Washington is just this one big monolithic thing, as opposed to us. Okay, just a pro tip. Okay, so what time is the vote actually happening? Here's Steve Scalise, the majority leader's daily schedule and the legislation considered pursuant to rule. And they say here on Saturday, the House will meet at 9 a.m. for legislative business. First and last votes expected at 1 p.m. And so they're doing the first one is on 21st Century Peace Through Strength Act. Second one is Indo-Pacific Security. Third one is Ukraine, and fourth is Israel. So the Peace Through Strength Act is going to be the one where we're dealing with the finances of like repo and that sort of thing. And then Indo-Pacific is Taiwan, Ukraine follows that, and then Israel Security Supplemental. Which will pass with flying colors. I predict that the Ukraine one will pass pretty well too, as long as it gets life on the floor. Okay, now, somebody was asking me yesterday about this. The U.S. Department of Defense has the logistics. Oh, they said, did the Defense Department say that they could get aid there quickly? Like, it's going to take a while, right? Yes, it is going to take a while. They can put it in a hurry-up offense. They're willing to do it in a hurry-up offense, but things still take time. Like the ammunition from Peter Pavel, who I deeply respect at this point. Peter Pavel's raising of the artillery shells for Ukraine, it's still taking time. It'll be there in May at best, probably in June. So there's a lag. Now, one of the things that Ukraine has done is they've dipped into other budgets in order to create some kind of slushy fund to buy ammunition and weapons and things along those lines. So they're hurting more economically than before, but without that, they would not have been able to survive this long because they just didn't have the resources. So the question was, can they get it there quickly? And apparently they can. The U.S. Department of Defense has the logistics to set up to rush the critically needed weapons to Ukraine in a matter of days as soon as the bill is passed by the House and Senate and signed into law. This was just said yesterday, I believe. Okay, so it can be done. Will it be done? Well, that's yet to be seen. There's going to be a process yet. Okay, while Putin is cowering in the Golden Palace and getting a manicure, Zelensky is casually hanging out at one of the worst areas on the front. Leadership defined. I think that's correct. This is Zelensky. I visited one of the 41st Mechanized Brigade's command post, which is defending Chasiv Yar. I spoke with the soldiers and received a briefing from their commander on the operational situation on the brigade area of responsibility, and he was handing out awards. And so this is the mark of what a good leader does, and he has to be doing this. He needs everything he can to increase morale, to keep things going, and he's been doing it. Meanwhile, where was Putin? Putin flew in the middle of the night into Mariupol, or drove in the middle of the night into Mariupol, maybe like a year ago. Okay, so that's all that I have right now. Be looking for the 1 o'clock. Again, it's going to be 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time when they're going to have that vote, and I'll be keeping you informed. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes. Thank you to all my patrons, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.